The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. While the crowd was pressing in on Jesus and listening to the word of God, he was standing by the lake of Gennesaret. He saw two boats there alongside the lake. The fishermen had disembarked and were washing their nets. Getting into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, he asked him to pull out a short distance from the shore. Then he sat down and taught the crowd from the boat. After he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and lower your nets for a catch." Simon said in reply, "Master, we have worked hard all night and have caught nothing, but at your command I will lower the nets." When they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their nets were tearing. They signaled to their partners in the other boat to come to help them. They came and filled both boats, so that the boats were in danger of sinking. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at the knees of Jesus and said, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." For astonishment at the catch of fish they had made seized him and all those with him, and likewise James and John, the sons of Zebedee, who were partners of Simon. Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on, you will be catching men." When they brought their boats to the shore, they left everything and followed him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Peter quickly went along when Jesus told him to put out into deep water and lower the nets. From what we know of Peter, we may have expected more of a protest. Peter made his living fishing on that lake. Jesus learned to be a carpenter from Joseph. From the Gospels, we know that Peter didn't hesitate to give his opinion. Still, he didn't hesitate. He quickly responded, following the directions of the carpenter where to fish. This was not the first contact between Jesus and Peter. Our gospel passage, there's skipped a few verses after last week's gospel. Peter likely had heard Jesus speak in the synagogue in Capernaum. Jesus had cured Peter's mother-in-law. Now, for that, Peter may have wanted to tell Jesus to jump in the lake, but he followed the direction of Jesus, and he lowered the nets. In every call story in the Bible, there is also an objection on the part of the person called. That's still true today. And it's kind of funny if you think about it. We believe God is all-knowing, but God always makes a mistake in calling us. There's better people out there, you know. In all three of our readings, we see it. Isaiah has unclean lips. Peter was a sinner. Paul persecuted the Christians. They all had a reason why God shouldn't call them. And we think that somewhere out there, there's better people. Somewhere there are perfect people, or at least people a lot holier than we are, and they'll do a better job, so God should call them, not us. God doesn't call just some people. God calls everyone. God calls all of us to be faithful, to follow the path of Jesus. God's call comes every day, right in the midst of our ordinary lives. Some of us are called, some are called to follow that call, to respond in extraordinary ways. But most of us are called to be faithful right where we are. We are to be people who bring the good news of Jesus to life. We are to follow the command of Jesus to love others, to be the ministers of God's mercy and forgiveness, to be the hands of Jesus that reach out to those who need comfort, to be the voice of Jesus who speaks out for those who are treated unfairly. We are to seek out those who are lost or overlooked and welcome them back, welcome them home. Jesus told Peter to put out into the deep water. Our lives are lived in the deep water. Let's face it, this world can be a tough place at times. There are many voices that are calling us to veer off the path of Jesus. They're calling us to follow a different way. We are to be the presence of Jesus in the deep water. That's our calling. We are to help each other face the current and stay on the path. We are to be the voice of Jesus saying to people today, do not be afraid.